Hello.
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 No dancing. No dancing. All right. Before Mr. Jazz Hands here goes completely crazy. Hello, everyone.
That's a clap for people who are deaf, you know.
Okay. Well, thank you for being inclusive of people
I
who
am.
are visually orientated. I'm Tim in Australia, and this, of course, is
Dr. Tom in Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
Dr. Tom, what are we going to talk about this week?
Yes. What we are talking about. Okay. So this month is trust. And we have some diagrams that Tim's going to switch to in a bit. And I'm going to open this up very quickly. Sorry for my nose shave, but I kind of like the stubble look today. Something different.
It's sexy.
And yes, sexy. Let me lower my voice a bit. No,
don't. That the stubble's enough. We don't need.
Anyway, so what we're going to get right into this. So, how do stress and trust go together? Let's think about that. It's not too hard to put together. Right now, we thought going back to work would start relieving our stress, and kids going back to school with this pandemic, and now we're getting this new variant in Australia. Things are getting shut down again, and here in the U.S. we have having to wear masks again all over the place, and even if you're vaccinated, all these restrictions, and then going back to work, you don't know what's going on, and you're half here, you're half there, and it's a lot more stress. And what happens is one of the major outcomes of stress is it affects our behavior to others. And in affecting our behavior to others, one of the key things it starts affecting is trust. How we trust each other, because we're not communicating as well, we're not behaving as well, we're not being as accountable, or maybe we think we are, other people don't think we are because they don't know what we're doing, and blah, 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 blah. And so we have this huge trust issue happening. And this is where Tim's diagram is going to come in, and just to show it.
Yeah. So just to add a little sprinkle onto what Tom has just shared there. We do a lot of work in helping people build and create trusting environments, right? Trusting workplaces, trusting communities.
Your mic closer to you and speak up.
Hello.
There you go.
But now you can't see my magnificent beard if I hide it like this.
Yeah, but you need to repeat what you just said, because I couldn't.
So apparently I just was too quiet. So we do a lot of work helping people to build trusting environments at work and in communities and so forth. And we look at this in terms of nurturing conditions and then developing capabilities and so on. So the challenge that we're very conscious of is the impact of stress and the mechanisms, the sort of the switches that stress is going to mess with, which really directly impact on those conditions, such as empathy, such as the ability to really engage and see people as whole people and meet them where they are. All of these things are different as an experience when you are highly stressed. Things which, sorry,
our
Tom,
our patience is less.
Yeah, our compassion,
our fuses are like, it takes a little spark to light them. Yeah. We're just at the edge, and our nerves are at the edge, and everything's at the edge, and one little thing is going to push us off.
So what Dr. Tom and I wanted to do today was just point to some research that's just been released that was actually shared with us by one of our Australian clients. So this is, I'll add this this hyperlink into the comments and chat. Anybody wants to go and read this article and dive down into the research behind it. But essentially, this is the concern area. What this column is pointing to, and the title here, which I appreciate it's a bit hard to read, is dealing with people. Dealing with people in 2021, it has become a real problem.
Circle your mouse a little bit.
This here.
Scroll up and down. Try and scroll up and down again. Because last time, there it is. There's your mouse. All right.
Okay.
Now There you
So
go.
this sector here is what we're focused on,
Yeah.
right? This is physical health. This is mental health, dealing with people, navigating changes, managing money, caring for others, and other concerns. So the red is 2021. The red is right now. This is a compounding aggregation across 3 years, 2019, 2020, 21. And all of a sudden, dealing with people has like more than doubled as a reported challenge area within a 12-month period. And it's being reported as the highest source of stress. Okay. Now, Tom knows all about.
And what I will say, and if we think about that, people think initially they says, "Oh, people are just bugging me," right? But a large part of that is not that people are doing anything differently. Well, everybody's doing everything differently. And that's the point. The point is that because everything is different, it's all change. And so, because it's all change, we tend to blame it not on the change itself, but on people that are involved in that change, right? So, how we can, what?
No, I was just going to say, we've actually just had a comment that I think might be really useful because it actually speaks to one of the things that you've just shared. So if I can just share this, right? So this is from Mel Lipkowitz, who's one of our colleagues. Tom, can you see this?
Yeah, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on how stressful situations up cortisol, which is a hormone that inhibits stress. Yeah, exactly. And cortisol actually makes you gain weight. It's all these things that um, it deals with the fight or flight, and in fight or flight, it activates fight or flight, and in your fight mode, and cortisol is going to increase. And anytime you're blocking that, you are going to end up blocking any type of relational communication. It's you're basically in fight mode. You're backing away. You're untrusting. You're not sure what's going to happen. It's the natural body response. Remember, we want to breathe. We want to start calming that down by activating our vagus nerve, which will help calm that down. However, we're all in this high development of cortisol, high activity in our amygdala, and all this stuff, because there's so much going on, and because it is all new and it's not typical. It's not something we are used to doing. We have to learn each time how to deal with these new situations. And it's been compounding. And when we compound, you may deal with it, but you have a little left. And so your reservoir of empathy, patience, all that other stuff is very low.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to this research for a second, and I think that kind of feeds directly onto what Tom's just said there. So if I get this right, I can now move my cursor around. So like when Tom and I were going through this earlier, like this was actually the diagram that we were spending most time looking at and talking around in terms of its relevance for trust. So everything that Tom's just said, I would say rightly then, seemingly the people that reported in this research were saying that they were essentially reaching out a lot more to friends and family. This top line here. Okay, so this is 2019. This is the turn of 2020, and this is where we are now, 2021. So that is where the increase has been. When you are struggling with well-being at work, you are reaching out to friends and family. Those potentially that you can be most vulnerable with, that you have the most empathy for, that hopefully hold the most reassurance for you, that you feel safest with, so they can
or
help
those that you could release to or on,
absolutely,
and feel safer in that environment.
So this is the problem, right? So that's good. This is the problem, right? So colleagues are in decline, bosses in decline. This is reasonably constant. It's declining, but not as sharply as the others, which is basically people just bottling it all up and not telling anyone anything.
And as I was telling, because we're around 20%, anything that's around 20% is always going to be probably a character trait.
Yeah.
So that I would, and because it's constant, it's probably, those people probably don't do it for any reason.
This is the other one, which is really interesting, that the HR team, which was at the bottom of the pile in 2019, has remained there and has actually dipped slightly. And look,
HR needs some PR work. I just have to say, HR, it's human resources. And if humans aren't using the resource, there's something wrong.
But look at this. I mean, the authors speak to it here, right? Distrust in management is causing problems to brew. And
that's where some of our other work on really diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's really on inclusion. And, 70% of our engagement or our willingness to engage comes from the leader.
Yeah.
It comes from our leader. And if we're struggling and we feel less and less likely that we can go to our leader and that they can provide any source of relief, it's not good.
Yeah. So that's, if you are leading as you watch this or soon after you watch this, what Tom has just cited there, 75% of essentially how your team feel included, that comes from you directly. And now is the time, like that piece that I just highlighted there. Sorry, I'll just go back to it. All right. Do you trust your team to make sensible decisions about the future? And are you having inclusive conversations that figure out what the next stage of work is going to look like? I think that's a really nice prompt.
And the question is, do you know what an inclusive conversation is? It's not, an inclusive conversation isn't, hey, come to this meeting, or it's not, hey, give me your idea, but not take it in. Inclusivity is the act of involving another person or a team in an activity with purpose and intention. Okay? Do you have an intention to truly involve that other person or your team in solving a problem, in addressing a challenge? Are they equally listened to? Is there decision-making that is inclusive? Is it not? How is that? Are there team charters that people are living up to? What is the accountability? What is are people living up to their responsibilities? Are people being accusatory on the other side? Are people being accusatory? Are people pointing fingers? Are people assuming and not asking? There's a lot of different ways we can include or disclude people. What, Tim?
Yeah, totally. And we've just had another comment about just reflecting on what you've said, which is that it's being intentional and caring about others, which is difficult when you're highly stressed. So we end up in this vicious downward perpetuating cycle, right? So that we have to figure out how to break out of this. So that we've been going for nearly 14 minutes, which is definitely over our average, but obviously there's so much very immediately contextually relevant stuff in here. So if you're coming to this after right now, it's a live broadcast, and there's something that we've pricked the skin with, that you have an opinion on, please share it in the comments. We'll view and respond.
And if you want to have a deeper conversation, reach out. Let us know.
Yeah, reach out, 100%, and we will find a way to engage with you. And if you're highly stressed right now, we've both been there. We've both written and spoken and shared a lot about our experiences.
Look, I created a deconstructing stress program, and I still get stressed.
And I was one of
my own program.
One of the early experiments of that program. And yeah, I'm still there. So anyway, thank you for your time and attention. We'll be back again next week with more Tim Tom Talks.
Thank you.